the king was dead, but the next king was not yet on the throne, and everything hung in between. After the death of Saul, the battle was over, but the story was not. A man came to David from the battlefield, clothes torn, dust on his head, and he said, "Israel has fled, many have fallen, and Saul is dead." And when David heard it, he did not celebrate, he did not rejoice, he did not claim victory. He wept, he mourned for Saul, for Jonathan, for the army, for the nation. The man who hunted him, the king who tried to kill him, was gone. And still, David grieved, because this was not just about power. This was about loss. And David said, "Tell it not in Gath, publish it not in the streets. Let not the enemies rejoice, even in victory." David chose honor, and then he asked the Lord, "What should I do now? Shall I go up?" And the Lord answered, "Go." So David went to Hebron, and there the people of Judah anointed him king, but not over all Israel. Not yet, because the nation was divided. One part followed David, the other followed the house of Saul, led by a man named Ish-bosheth, Saul's son, and the kingdom was split. War followed, not one battle, but many, slow, painful, divided, brother against brother. And through it all, David grew stronger, and the house of Saul grew weaker, until one day, the end came. Ish-bosheth was killed, not in battle, but by betrayal, and his head was brought to David, as if it were a gift, as if it would earn reward. But David said, "How were you not afraid to destroy the Lord's anointed?" And he ordered them to be executed. Because David did not take power through violence, he waited. And finally, all the tribes of Israel came to him, and they said, "You are our king. You led us before. You will lead us now." And David was anointed king over all Israel. The promise was now complete. But this was only the beginning, because David had a vision, a united nation, a strong kingdom, and a city to stand at its center. So he went to Jerusalem, a city not yet claimed, a stronghold, difficult to conquer. But David took it and made it his capital, the city of David. And from there, he began to build strength, structure, stability. And the kingdom grew. Enemies fell, victories came, and David's name became known. But David knew this was not his strength. This was God's doing. And so he said, "Bring the ark, the presence of God, back to the center, back to the people." But the first attempt failed, because they did not handle it properly. And a man died, and fear spread, and David stopped. He waited, he learned, and then he tried again. This time with reverence, with understanding. And when the ark entered the city, David danced, not as a king, but as a servant before God. And the people rejoiced, because something had returned, not just the ark, but alignment. And David sat in his house and looked around. He saw his kingdom, his palace, his success, and he said, "I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of God dwells in a tent." This was not guilt. This was desire. He wanted to build something for God, a temple, a place worthy. And the prophet Nathan said, "Do all that is in your heart." But that night, God spoke, not to David, but about him. "You will not build me a house, but I will build you one, not of stone, but of legacy. Your throne will be established. Your kingdom will endure, and from your line, something greater will come." This was not just a promise. This was a covenant, and David understood. This was bigger than him. So he sat before the Lord and said, "Who am I that you have brought me this far? And what is my house that you would establish it?" He had become king. He had secured the nation. He had brought back the presence of God. But he knew this was not about him. This was about something greater, something still coming. Because David had taken the throne. But the story was not complete, because what rises can also fall, and what is established can also be tested.